Let's skip any unnecessary bullshit and get straight to the point. When it comes to beer, Germany is the undisputed heavyweight champion. Picture the scene. Bavarian beer gardens filled with laughter and rhythmic sound of beer glasses rattling, public festivals in full swing, steins brimming with frothy goodness. It's simply magical. Now shift to a typical American bar, where you're handed a can of beer that's more water than wheat. It's enough to make even the strongest of German men cry. And any beer lover wonder, what in the fuck went wrong? Let's get to the bottom of this. Why does German beer reign supreme, while American beer often gets a bad rap? And I'm not even talking about the music. And why, despite America's long history of German immigration, has the quality of mainstream American beer been, well, questionable at best? So, grab yourself a bottle or crack open a can and join me for a short history of the two sides of our favorite beverage. First, let's talk about the Reinheitsgebot, the German beer purity law of 1516. This ancient decree, still influential today, insists that beer can only contain 4 ingredients: water, malt, hops and yeast. And maybe a little bit of love, if we want to be honest. No cutting corners, no added sugars, fruits or hipsters' armpit hairs. Just pure, unadulterated beer. This strict adherence to quality has ensured that every half liter of German beer is a crafted masterpiece, rich with flavor, tradition, and only the best of ingredients. The result? German beers are an experience in every sip, whether it's the crisp bite of a Pilsner, the malty depths of a Dunkel, or the incredible body of a Weissbier. German brews are a testament to centuries of perfection. Brewing in Germany isn't just about making beer, it's about maintaining and improving a centuries-old art form. Now, let's hop across the Atlantic to America, where things took a different turn. The early beer landscape in the US wasn't always dominated by fizzy light lagers. The first European settlers brought their brewing traditions with them, but the lack of equipment and facilities led to brews that contain corn and a few or even no hops, for example. Okay, fair enough, but what about German immigrants now? Well, in the 19th century, these immigrants established breweries across the country, producing robust lagers and ales that echoed the quality of their homeland. However, this golden era of American beer didn't last. The first blow came with Prohibition in the 1920s. The nationwide ban on alcohol production and sale forced many breweries out of business. Those that survived often did so by making near beer or diversifying into other products. When Prohibition was repealed in 1933, the American beer landscape was forever changed and would not return to its former state. To quickly rebuild after Prohibition, surviving breweries went full on American capitalism and focused on mass production and affordability rather than flavor and quality. They found that by using cheaper ingredients like corn and rice, they could produce larger quantities of beer at a lower cost. This gave birth to the American Light Lager, a beer designed to be drunk in quantity and not necessarily enjoyed for its taste. This shift toward lighter, less flavorful beer was further cemented by the rise of big beer corporations in the mid-20th century. As brands like Budweiser, Miller and Coors dominated the market, the focus remained on consistency, affordability and mild flavor, appealing to the widest possible audience. These beers became symbols of American culture. Easy to drink, easy to produce and easy on the wallet, but lacking the rich flavors and craftsmanship of their German counterparts. I guess beer and cars have a lot in common when you compare the two countries. But what about German roots? Why didn't the influence of German brewing traditions keep American beer's quality on track? Traditions that should have lasted thousands of years! The answer lies in the sheer scale of the American market and the drive for profit over perfection. The German influence was there, but it got diluted by the need to cater to a mass market that valued cost over craftsmanship. While some German immigrants stuck to the traditional brewing methods, the tide of industrialization and commercialization washed away much of that heritage. I can imagine Bob Doe from Alabama being absolutely outraged if he had to pay a tiny fraction more for a delicious brew.
What in God's name is this bottle of shit? It tastes so bitter and flavorful. I can't drink this. My beer needs to taste like the crack of my sister. It must be those goddamn Chinese trying to poison us with the goddamn communism. If it can't power my Chevy pickup truck, I ain't drinking it.
Fast forward to today, and the American beer scene is a mixed bag. The dominance of light, mass-produced lagers still persists, but there's a silver lining. the craft beer revolution. In the last few decades, small independent breweries across the US have started to reclaim the lost art of brewing. Inspired by both European traditions and the desire to innovate, these craft brewers are creating beers that can finally stand up to German standards. Of course they can't, it's still piss, but at least with a bit of flavor. Yet, even with the craft beer boom, the legacy of America's big beer brands still casts a long shadow. While you can now find consumable IPAs, stouts and sours across the country, the average American beer experience is still defined by the watery lagers that have ruled the market for decades. So, why does German beer taste so much better? It's simple. Centuries of tradition, strict quality laws, and a cultural reverence for the art of brewing. Every city has its own brewery, in some regions even every village, and the amount of variation in style and taste is absolutely mind-blowing. And Germans take pride in serving themselves and their guests great quality beers. In contrast, America's beer history has been shaped by prohibition, commercialization, and a focus on profit over perfection. In the end, when you compare a German Pilsner to an American light beer, it's like comparing a handcrafted piece of art to a mass-produced print. Both have their place, don't get me wrong, but one clearly outshines the other in flavor, quality, and craftsmanship. So, next time you raise a glass of Stein, whether it's in Munich or Milwaukee, take a moment to appreciate the journey that beer has taken. And if you're lucky enough to be sipping on a German brew, know that you're tasting history in every delicious drop. Prost!